You're listening to the Results Driven Organizations podcast with Dr. Tanya Lowe, a podcast of curated conversations with C-suite leaders and those who support organizational growth and development. Get ready for inspiring interviews, educational lessons, and thought-provoking discussions that will challenge you to execute something new and innovative that will drive results in your organization. And now, here's Dr. Tanya Lowe.
Hello, you're listening to the Results Driven Organizations podcast with Dr. Tanya Lowe. Using my results driven philosophy of strategy, leadership, teams, and customer experiences, I help organizations develop their best kept secret, their human capital. This podcast is designed to expand the conversation with C-suite leaders and those who support organizational growth and development, and what it really takes to create, develop, and maintain results-driven and high-performing organizations. Our guest today is Lisa S. Jones. Lisa Jones is the visionary founder and CEO of iMail Incorporated. As the Chief iMail Officer, Lisa leads a diverse and innovative global team. Lisa owns multiple patent-pending technologies in the digital communications and video in email space. And she has totally revolutionized the way businesses engage with their audiences through email, something we use every day. Under Lisa's leadership, iMail Inc. has partnered with industry giants such as Porsche, Coca-Cola, Warner Media, and Delta Airlines, creating compelling and engaging communications that stand out in today's crowded digital landscape. The company's innovative approach has earned recognition from Catalyst Magazine as one of the top 300 companies to watch and a spot in Georgia's Technology Association's top 40 innovative companies. Most recently, Lisa was recognized by Inc. magazine, Female Founders 250 Most Intriguing CEOs. Driven by a passion for innovation and excellence, Lisa Jones continues to push the boundaries of what is possible in digital communications, ensuring that iMail Inc. remains at the forefront of technological advancements and customer engagement strategies. Lisa, welcome to RDO.
Thank you so much. I mean, in listening to you with that introduction, I am just over here smiling from ear to ear because it's so special when someone just takes the time to learn about your background and to share. So it is an honor to be here, and thank you so much for that kind intro.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I'm so excited to share you with our audience. We met through the Microsoft Canada event last year, and I thought I've got to share her with our listeners. So I'm so glad that you're here. You can make time in your schedule today.
Absolutely.
So, Lisa, I'm going to jump right in. I know your journey, but I'd love for you to share your journey. You've been recognized as a visionary leader in the digital communication space. So can you share with us your journey to founding iMail and what inspired you to revolutionize email communications with video technology?
Absolutely. I would love to share that story. I'm originally from Montgomery, Alabama, and I call this my first career move was working at McDonald's. I'm talking about McDonald's hamburgers.
Yes.
And I think it's important in understanding the journey that we all have a starting point, right? We didn't all start off on the top or what is perceived at the top. We all had a path to get there. And for me, it was starting at McDonald's at the age of 16 through 21, all the way through college. And I'll tell you what, I learned a lot of my interpersonal skills at a young age from McDonald's. I learned how to smile at the customer, how to listen to the customer, how to serve the customer, how organizations work behind the scenes for equipment, delivery. I learned how to upsell. Do you want fries with that shake? A lot of these key things that happen every day, I learned. I progressed from McDonald's hamburgers, McDonald's, to NASA. And I went straight from McDonald's I'm one of these people that when I knew I was getting ready to graduate from college, I went to Alabama A&M in Huntsville, Normal, Alabama, and
Mm-hmm.
I majored in logistics and procurement. So at the time, I was making sure before graduation, I'm mailing out all my letters because at the time you were doing letters. Internet like we know it today didn't exist to that magnitude, right? So I'm mailing out all these letters, and I had two offers at the same time while I was still working at McDonald's. I had an offer from NASA to join, and I had an offer from the CIA. I had passed all of the tests, multiple rounds of tests, and I got accepted. I flew to Virginia to go determine would I like Virginia or not.
Mm.
And ultimately, I decided on NASA. And I enjoyed NASA. It was such an experience, and I learned from so many great thought leaders. And then after a few years, I decided I was ready for a change.
Mm.
And I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, to work and advance my career in the telecommunications industry. So I started with Bell South Mobility, and then there was a brand called Singular Wireless on the mobile side. I
Mm.
worked with infrastructure management and project management. And then I transitioned into supplier diversity. Supplier diversity enabled me to work with women and diverse owned businesses to be a supplier champion, a change agent to grow, to help them to grow and to expand within our enterprise of opportunity. So after that, we were acquired by AT&T. Now, in the midst of that, I'm having a great corporate career for the most part, but I've always known there's a part of me that is, and at the time was an entrepreneur. It just hadn't come out yet. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes life's moments will help you redefine your journey. In my case, as I mentioned, I'm from Alabama. One summer morning when I was driving to the office, I have two older sisters who also lived in Alabama. And my oldest sister, Trina, called me. She called me to advise that our mother had passed away at
Mm.
home alone at the age of 61. And I remember how that moment in time and that entire experience of losing someone that's the closest to you has an impact on your life. When I went to my mother's services as a graveside service in Alabama, to me, the services lasted for 7 minutes of time. And I'm thinking to myself, is this what life comes down to is 7 minutes of time? Everyone deserves more to be celebrated. And here's my mom raising three daughters, termed successful, but here it is 7 minutes and people are going back to their cars. Now, in
Mm.
my mind, I was going to get up and speak. But at the time, I wasn't on the program. But at the time, it just didn't flow that way. So
Yeah.
when people were going back to their cars, I made a promise to my mother at her site. And I said, when I get back to Atlanta, I'm going to find a way to do something impactful. I'm going
Mm.
to start a company. And I want it to be global. I wanted to deliver value. I wanted to serve as a legacy, but
Mm.
primarily, it was a catalyst to show that my mother's life stood for more than 7 minutes. When I came back to Atlanta, I thought about what kind of company could I start and
Mhm.
how one communication changed my life and how important communications are. So I said, "Now, maybe I'll start a communications company." And I said, well, what kind can I start? What would I do? And I thought about how do we communicate? I said, verbally, non-verbally, and writing. What else do we do? I said, we email people. Well, who do we email? Interesting. Internally, externally, in one click, it's anywhere in the world. This is fascinating and
Mm.
no overhead. So I signed up for 150 different brands' emails. Yes. Fortune 500, nonprofit, anything you want to name, I signed up for it because in order to understand anything about anyone else, you need to understand what's important to them and what
Mm.
the brand messaging is that they're sending out. And what I found, there were some similarities. When I received all these communications in my inbox, I didn't feel special. I didn't feel inspired.
Mhm.
The majority of the communications sent to me in my inbox were either a static graphic, it wasn't moving, it was either paragraphs of text, multiple paragraphs of text, like I was going to really read all that. And then it had hyperlinks that you have to click and go off the page to another page and click again, right? Because we have short attention spans. We don't have time for all
Yes.
the things. Or it was a 3 second GIF of a cat looping or something. I'm like, what can I do with this? So with that, I said, wow, there's a gap there's an opportunity because there are opportunities in the gap. I said, what if email could have a personality? What if email could be brought to life with video? And with that, that was the start of founding iMail Inc.
Wow. Wow. I love how you tell this story because all elements of the story are so important. I too started at McDonald's.
Did you?
And
High
I
five
learned
to
so much
McDonald's.
from my
Yes.
time there. I still customer service,
Yes.
the upsell, all of that. Who knew McDonald's would be a great breeding ground for talent, right?
Absolutely.
So I love how you tell your story. And I think it's so important for people listening to understand that we didn't just wake up like this. There was a journey, we put thought into it, how you had this desire of entrepreneurship, but then the legacy that goes back to your mom, how you took that energy, right, to create something impactful, something global, and something of value. I absolutely love it. And I think that it's really important for our listeners to think about in their role. How do I use this? How can I use this as an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur are people who work within companies who have entrepreneurial skills or entrepreneurial mindset to help grow the company. So thank you for sharing your story with us. So as a woman, as a successful female CEO in the tech industry, what unique challenges have you faced and how have you navigated them? And what advice would you give other women who are aspiring to lead in tech?
Some of the challenges that I faced along the way, and it could happen at any moment in time, but I would love to share some of the challenges and then my recommendations for others, for women in tech and others who want to soar in their given area. For me, when I started iMail, I was still in corporate America as an executive. And when I was introducing the idea of this 2004, keep this in mind, it's 2004. So this is before social media has taken off and all of in full capacity, right? So I'm telling colleagues, family, friends, anyone that will listen, that video and email is important because we need a human experience as close to human as we can get to personalize communications, and nobody's really going to enjoy this experience in text. So I heard things such as, I'm talking about in mass quantity. Lisa, no matter what you do not leave that great cushy job that you have. Now, I'm not crazy because I knew that I needed to prepare for my transition ultimately. And I ended up staying in corporate America several years because you have to prepare also in planning your next chapter. You don't just jump out and take a leap in it with making sure that you also are financially solvent. So that part was a given. I was going to make sure of that. But the opposition that I faced or adversity included things like this from many. Lisa, you're a woman. Lisa, you're a Black woman. Lisa, you're from Alabama. Lisa, you're not a coder. Lisa, you're not technical. And Lisa, you don't have the right network to make this happen. Video and email is a dumb idea. I mean, with stares in the face long, like how I'm dragging out the word, right? I'm talking many sources coming at me. It's a dumb idea. Just stick with that corporate work. I mean, you've had an illustrious career. Just stay there, and it's not going to work. You don't even know the right people, and that was the adversity that I faced in building iMail, was finding and listening to my own voice, because sometimes your dream, for all of us, your dream is intended for you. And everybody's not going to see your dream the same way as you. And that's okay. As long as you stay the course of where you're going and knowing that every step counts, because every step isn't going to be sunshine and rainbows where you're going to make it and everything happens perfectly aligned, but you got to be ready for the journey. That's a mindset thing, right?
Oh, it's so all about mindset.
Exactly.
Yes.
So with that, I embraced all of that. I call them naysayers. So I muted, just like you mute on your TV. I muted the naysayers and I kept going forward. And so with that, I knew I had to find the right tech team to join my mission, and finding people around me that believed in the company, believed in my leadership, believed in the vision. Now, did I find the right people on the first try? No, I had to go through like 8, 9 different teams of sessions. Then I had some people that I'm hiring now. I'm going to spend my money, and they're telling me, well, technical teams. Well, I'm not sure, Lisa, this is a good idea. Maybe you should consider. Now, they wanted me to hire them, but they're telling
Right.
me my idea is not going to fit. So, of course, I didn't hire them. But over time, over this time window of me growing and determining exactly in the business plan what I wanted to do, I found the right team at like team number 9, and we developed the first product of iMail in the first version 1.0. And what I would advise any woman in tech, any woman in business, to stay with your dream no matter what, to have resilience, and to know that when you feel that the cards are stacked against you, I want you to dig deep and double down on yourself, because you deserve it. You deserve whatever it is that's coming for you. And that every step, every single step counts in the journey. I think about briefly, if I'll share, one of my motivating factors is I think about the Wright brothers back. And so here it is. I don't know why. I think about the Wright brothers because they were the first to come up with to have the airplane in the air. So
Yes.
here it is, 1903. They're in a place called Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and they've come up with this concept that they've been preparing and building, and now it's time for the launch. They have 5 people in attendance, 5 people standing by. The plane takes off. The plane goes for 12 seconds in the air. And when you think about that 12 seconds, you're thinking, what can I do with 12 seconds a day? I can't go anywhere with 12 seconds. But those 12 seconds were important, because without those 12 seconds, we wouldn't be able to fly to the degree that we are now, because they were the first in 1903 to do what they did. And when the plane landed after those little 12 seconds, you know what they did? They celebrated.
Yeah.
And that's another point that I want to share with the listeners is the art of celebration. When good things happen, and sometimes when things good do not happen, you need to embrace that moment in time, because that's part of your story, that's part of your journey, and how you're going to map it forward to keep moving on and to keep on that mission.
Oh my goodness. Lisa, you're talking my language. You're I can remember in 2006, you gonna leave your good government job? Those, and you hear that in your head, but you
Yes.
also have this yearning in your heart, in your spirit, right? And so you have to do it. And so for anyone listening, I hope you wrote these down. Bet on yourself, believing in yourself. Your dream was given to you. So you have to walk it out. And what I know to be true is the right people will come.
Yes.
We got to go through like you said, the team members who weren't the right fit. We have to go through that so we know who the right fit of people are to be on our team. And, I want the listeners to, as you're listening, I want you to think about your teams and how ideas come about in your teams. And they may not work the first time. I hear people say, oh, well, we tried that. It didn't work. Well, maybe you got to flush it out. Maybe you got to flush it out a little bit. Celebrate the trial and celebrate the growth areas, because nothing comes out of the box fully assembled.
Exactly.
So we have to grow with it. Trust yourself, be resilient as a leader, and especially for new leaders. I think that's very, very important. Trust yourself, and it's okay to make mistakes.
It's okay to make mistakes. Why are we so afraid to make mistakes? Because of judgment, because of our own thoughts about ourselves. But it's so important to make mistakes because there's learning, there are lessons learned in that mistake. And it's not a mistake, it's a way to know that, okay, that didn't work. Let me try something else.
Yeah, yeah. I think it goes back to many people how they were raised. It's got to be perfect, and if you make
Perfect.
a mistake, that's not good. But guess what? You want to. John Maxwell says you want to fail, and fail fast,
Real
so you can
fast.
know what you need to do, so you can come back and do it better. And
Yeah.
so I'm telling you want to fail,
Fail
don't
and
quit.
fail fast and get back up and keep moving forward. Exactly.
Absolutely. Don't
Exactly.
quit, but
Don't
keep
quit.
going.
Keep going. One other thing I want to mention, a lot of people will say, be fearless. Just be fearless. Here's my thought on being fearless. I think it's okay. It's perfectly fine to feel the fear. It's okay because that's going to come. That's an emotion too. Fear, fearlessness, whatever it is, right? So I
Yeah,
want you to feel the fear, but do it anyway.
do it
I
anyway.
want you to press through that fear because fear is going to come at some point in time in some form. So when
It's
people say
sticky.
be fearless, well, I don't know 100% I can be 100% fearless, but I know I can take that fear and work through that energy and keep moving forward. I know I can do that.
Use that fear as fuel to drive
Oh,
you
there we
to the
go.
next level. Yeah, it's gonna be there. And some of it is to make sure that your goal is big enough. I heard someone say, if you're not shaking in your boots, then your dream isn't big enough.
I've heard that too.
So it's like, oh goodness. Okay. So if you're not shaking when
I,
and I think it's so important also um for women leaders to use their voice, even if your voice cracks. Use
yes.
your voice, put your thoughts out there, share your thought leadership with your teams, have those conversations. Don't
Hmm.
allow people to shut it down because you don't look like them, because it's different from what they would do. That could be the one idea that could catapult the organization to the next level or to increase the sales in the team. Use your voice.
Use
Use
your
your voice.
voice and step out of your comfort zone.
That part.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
okay to go to different networking events or try new things outside of your norm to
Yeah.
meet an extended network because you're meeting more people with thought leadership to continue to grow
Mm-hmm.
and to expand. So absolutely get out of your comfort zone because that's where the magic happens too.
Yeah. And that's how you find your people. That's
Yes.
that's how you find your tribe. Um, so in that same vein, I want to talk about imposter syndrome.
Mm.
Um, surely you haven't had it. Maybe you know somebody who had.
I know it very well.
But imposter syndrome is something that many leaders face, especially women in male-dominated fields. How have you handled imposter syndrome when it reared its ugly head?
I love that question because I have so many different thoughts about it in my journey. But I'll start with one with saying, remember, I mentioned the transition from going to McDonald's, like over after like a weekend from I've been at McDonald's all this time, and then I transitioned straight into corporate and I went with NASA. So I transitioned, I got on my beautiful suit. I'm at my first team meeting at the corporation for NASA at a board table. I'll never forget this. They introduced me to the team. It was about 15 people sitting at the table, and they looked at me and I smiled and I said, hello, nice to meet everyone. Glad to be here. I was confident in that. But
Yeah.
then when they started talking technical and all these different mechanics, and I'm sitting at the table, it's like I'm having an inner and outer body experience with all within myself. While I was trying to maintain the smile and take notes, I was thinking, what in the hell am I doing here? Am I worthy enough to be at this table? Okay. And I was looking down and I caught
Mm,
myself looking down more than looking up with my shoulders back and smiling in confidence. And that was
mhm.
one of the memories I first remember of saying, Lisa, you need to own this. This was for you to be at NASA. Yes, it's okay that you started at McDonald's too. And that's a career within itself, but you're here today.
Yeah.
And I've learned to practice positive self-talk to myself. I've learned to read books, and I'll read anything that's related to self-help. It could be anything. Joel Osteen, it could be Oprah, a lot of different things there. But I also learned to talk to mentors about it and to talk about it, not to say, oh, I'm just not good enough and I'm going to leave it there, but to be open to talk about the journey and the feelings of not being adequate. I know I've been in several situations where I was pursuing Microsoft. I wanted to be a Microsoft partner. And I was like, how am I going to make that happen? And I read an article that said Microsoft supports women in technology businesses. I was like, wow. So once I knew that, I said, okay, I got to go pursue Microsoft to figure out how to build this relationship. And initially I said, Lisa, you cannot. How are you going to build a relationship with the one and only Microsoft?
The audacity of it all,
the
right?
audacity of it all. The audacity of you, Lisa S. Jones. How are you going to do that? And I was able to turn that imposter syndrome to say that I am enough. You're phenomenal, because my mother told me, and it's in my graduation speech. My mom asked me, what do you want for graduation? I said, you know what, Mom? I just want a letter from you. And what a blessing. And I have that letter framed since when I graduated college. And one of the things she wrote was, you're great and you're always going to be great. So you embrace that. And you always do your best the first time, and then let the rest fall where it may, but do your best. And I thought about that in thinking about the pursuit of Microsoft and how am I going to become a customer, I'm sorry, not a customer, a partner. And with that, over the years, I've been featured in several, after hard work, I've been featured in several Microsoft articles. As a matter of fact, we were recognized because we supported the launch of Windows 11 using iMail's technology. And it went out to 25 million subscribers utilizing my technology, right? So I get emotional about that because that's a big milestone. And as a result, iMail was recognized as a finalist, Diverse Supplier of the Year, one of 5 globally.
Wow. Wow. Definitely something to be proud of, and not allowing, fear and imposter syndrome and the naysayers, they're going to be there, right?
They're going to be there.
They're going to be there. And so we have to keep moving forward, because guess what? They're also going to be there at the end saying, I knew you could do it. I believed in you the whole time. So you're everybody's not going to support you from the beginning. People are going to have some negative things to say, but we still have to keep pushing forward. Tame those mind monkeys, the gremlins, the mind gremlins. It takes the mindset work. Mentorship in relationships matter. I heard you say that.
Yes.
Have someone, whether they're within the company or outside of the company, that you can say, hey, this is how I'm feeling today. And allow them to have that dialogue with you and feed in and pour into you. But the relationships,
relationships and being vulnerable, to be open. That's one of the things I wish I would have embraced early on, because initially I thought, I didn't want to show my vulnerability because I already had people attacking me. And I was like, no, I got to come across like I know everything and everything. No, you don't have to know everything. No, you don't. And it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah. That is something I want everyone listening to this episode to remember. It is okay. You don't have to have all the answers. It's okay to ask for help. And it's vulnerable is not a bad word.
It's not. Absolutely. It is not a bad word.
It's one of those things that I think we have to, depending on the generation you were born in, we have to unlearn it and relearn it in a different way. The whole never let them see you sweat. You got this. You don't need any help. That is the quick road to burnout.
Yes.
the express the express lane
Express.
to burnout because you're trying to hold it all in. Your hair is falling out. You don't have any edges. You can't sleep at night. It's a mess. So ask for help.
Ask for help.
Ask for help. So, Lisa, leading a multi-generational and global team, as we're talking about challenges, comes with its own set of challenges and opportunities. So how do you ensure that iMail leverages the strength of team members from different generations, different areas of the globe to come together for the purpose of the organization?
Inclusion and accessibility is a core part of our DNA here at iMail. And it starts with leading from the top. It starts from me believing in the importance that all voices should be heard and brought to the table. When I started the vision of iMail, in that same month, I saw people from all over the world being a part of iMail and representing different parts of iMail in different countries. So there's iMail Canada, there's iMail Pakistan, there's iMail China, there's iMail Africa, etc. So there are 20 brands of iMail around the world. We have team members in 7 countries right now. And what I've learned in that is that it's important to have an open door policy to listen. And that culture can start with one person. It's about what is it that you believe and that you believe your company philosophy should be, or for yourself in your journey. And then aligning with like-minded professionals. And here's the thing, you could train some people. You could meet someone that's great for your team, that's doesn't necessarily have gone to these accolades that you think they need to have necessarily, but they have the right attitude to soar. The right attitude, the team spirit, everything. So within iMail, we have on board our youngest team member as an intern was 15 years old. Right now, we have a high school student that's graduating high school coming up next week, and he's 18 years old. Wow. Right? And each person, and our most senior team member is 79. Right? Everything is mixed in the middle.
Yes.
All over the world. I love it because it brings diverse thought together. It brings our beliefs, our cultures, our experiences into this beautiful melting pot so that when we're servicing our clients, be it a Madison Square Garden or the Delta Airlines or Porsche North America, all these different brands or nonprofits like Make-A-Wish or various nonprofits, that we all are collectively thinking about the customer. And how can we deliver value? It's not as much about iMail, but it's like, how can we use the iMail channel of communication to advance your cause? Because you want to align with people that are about understanding you and who you are. So make it a point to always take time out to learn about others and what's important to them instead of just selling your agenda, but understanding their mission so that you can align with their journey.
And then everything can flow well together.
It can flow from there, but it's coming from a point of authenticity.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is it. That is it. What would you want a leader who's listening to take away from your strategy around leading global and multi-generational teams?
I would want listeners to take away to know that anything and everything is possible. Everything will not happen overnight, and that it takes time to build a village, to build a team. And you're going to have some people that may come and may go, but the core is you. You're the nucleus of it all, because you're going to continue on that roadmap because it's your dream, it's your vision. So I would say, continue to think about how you can expand, be ready to pivot. Sometimes you have to pivot in the adjustment. That's not failing. No, that's just making another turn to get to the place you want to be. So it's okay to pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. As someone constantly pushing the boundaries in digital communications, what trends do you foresee in the next 5 to 10 years, and how is iMail preparing to stay ahead in such a rapidly evolving landscape?
Yes. The trends that I see upcoming in the future, of course, AI is taking off now, but it's just in its infancy. It's just getting started, it's just getting warmed up, if that's the word for what it's doing right now. I was just thinking about this phenomenon of growth just the other day. I was talking to Siri on my phone or something. Was it my phone? And I asked Siri to do something for me, to check the time or something. And Siri said, yes, it's 10:04 p.m. And I said, thank you, Siri. She said, no problem. Now that blew my mind because I'm starting to do it more regular, of course, and she'll respond back. Now, in my mind, which I need to write a post about this, I was thinking, interesting. Should you respond back to AI with thank you? Why am I telling a computer that's not even real, thank you? And she has the audacity to respond. I love it in its own indirect way, but that's a whole conversation in itself, right? But look at
Yes.
how I'm saying thank you to I mean, think how much more commonplace that's going to become in how you communicate.
Mhm.
Microsoft is adding another keyboard key on some of their equipment. It's called the companion. The
Yes.
companion.
Yes.
I remember being on a call and I heard about this companion. I'm thinking companion. Now, how did it come up with that name too? Because we all in the dark, lonely hours too. When you're focused on your dream, everybody needs a companion, and you don't have to be in the dark hours to need a companion. But just know that it's there for support for you. What a great name to have! Something that's
Yeah.
going to help you with your growth factor. So I think we're going to see more adoption, more expansion of the possibilities of what AI is going to do. And for iMail, we're finalizing development of a software as a service portal platform. It is called the iMail storytelling platform. This platform is going to allow within minutes for you to create your own iMail experiences because you're going to log in, upload your video, and in a minute or two, it's going to export out the code or allow you to send out that iMail campaign about your business or an event or employee engagement, maybe hearing
Mm.
from senior leadership. And even in
Mhm.
employee engagement, it's important to keep employees inspired and engaged because they're
Mhm.
delivering the message to the customers and the internal and external stakeholders. So within iMail being used in these different use cases, you're going to be able to create your own experiences, and we're leveraging AI so that if you want to include closed captioning on that video communication, because it reaches a broader audience. When you think about how many people, millions of people that suffer from hearing loss, disabilities in some form as well, it's important to be able to be sensitive and thoughtful about your communications. So
Yes.
iMail also has closed captioning. It's going to have different features that are going to embrace AI, to have avatars or lifelike AI that's integrated into the experience that's going to deliver to the inboxes.
Oh my God. I'm so excited because that's right up my alley. I'm already thinking, I'm like, okay, as we do these drip campaigns for
Yes.
some of our clients where we may go in and we do a training, and then they may get 8 to 12 little drip nuggets, kind of reminding them of different things to do. I love, love, love that already. So I
Thank you.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
Lisa, what are you reading that we should be reading?
Well, what I'm reading right now, it's a book by the name Grit, and it's by Angela Duckworth, and it's about the power of passion and perseverance.
Mhm.
Perseverance, right. And this book, actually, I was a part of MGM Resorts International Supplier Diversity Mentoring Program. And I was a mentee to the SVP of marketing for all of MGM Resorts for 8 months. And I just graduated. Yes, that I just graduated at the end of January. And so they flew us all out to Vegas. It was 35 of us in this year's cohort. During graduation afterwards, she gave me a gift bag. I had a gift bag for her. I didn't know she had one for me. And this book was one of the items that she had in here. Of course, she gave me some MGM swag. I had to have that. And
Of course.
but she gave me this book and I love it. And the reason I love this book is because it embraces the thought of pursuing your passion, the power in passion, the power in belief in yourself, and going the distance with the perseverance. And no matter what, don't stop. And like we talked about, when the trenches go down and deep, you go deeper and keep pressing forward. So that's the latest in my edition of what I'm reading.
I absolutely love it. And I love Angela Duckworth. I watched all of her, I think, TED Talks. So it is a book that is tried and true and will be added to the list.
Nice. I want to say one other thing I want to add too now.
Yes.
Okay, so I went and spoke to kids at Girls Inc. for Kip Way's Academy on entrepreneurship and being bold and embracing the journey, because I talk about the journey. And I thought about, well, what kind of book could I share with kids that they could relate to? And I found out about, of course, the young entrepreneur at the age of 4 that was stung by bees twice in a week. And she started her company for lemonade. She used her great grandmother's recipe for lemonade, and she used honey instead of sugar. And the reason that story is important in her story, just to share briefly, is because when she was stung twice in a week, she had this extreme fear of bees and she didn't want to go outside. She didn't want to do anything. And her mother said, you got to live life. You got to embrace it. And so she started studying, what are bees about? What are they? Why are they so important? And she learned the importance of pollen and how it creates all of these different products integrated in. And so that became her mission. And as of now, she is in 1,500 stores, 1,500 stores nationwide, including Whole Foods and Target. I mean, that's an inspiration. And by 11, she had accomplished all of these things. And she wrote a book called Me and the Bees. Me and the Bees. And I can't think of her name. I don't want to mispronounce it.
Oh, we'll find it.
Yes, Me and the Bees. So here it is. Here's the lesson in that. Yeah. We can learn from all ages.
Oh, if I weren't afraid that I break my mic, I drop the mic. Lisa, that is so true. We can learn. We have to open our brain to understand that we can learn from anyone, that there are lessons out there waiting for us to use them. And we can't always pick our teacher.
We can't always pick our teacher, but have a cause behind it, a why. She had a why. Her mission was to go save the bees because they were going into extinction, and how she can leverage honey in her lemonade to help bees. And now people have embraced her why. And now she's just growing. I mean, she even introduced a few years back, President Obama. This little, I'm going to see you the clip. You have to see this. And she makes this grand introduction of President Obama a few years ago. But look at what she did as a kid, and now she's maybe 17 or so, and she's still the president's CEO. Her family is entrenched with her in the business, and she's growing an empire.
Yeah. Somebody needs that. Somebody is sitting thinking that they don't have any more get up and go, that they're downtrodden by mistakes, accidents. The path that they've been on, bad decisions. Guess what? You can all you need is a little lemonade.
And then turn lemons into lemonade, because the best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We've been chatting with Lisa Jones, founder and CEO of iMail, Chief iMail Officer, video and email expert, 10 most disruptive women leaders to watch, top 20 global email experts, and Inc. magazine, Female Founders 250 most intriguing CEOs. Visit the show notes to see how to connect with Lisa. Go ahead and sign up. Get your iMail account today. Grab a copy of Results Driven Organizations, the 4 Keys to Our High Performance Workplace, and our special gift to you for being a valuable listener. Until next time.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Results Driven Organizations Podcast with Dr. Tanya Lowe. Be sure to review the show notes for the resources mentioned, and don't forget to grab your free gift available at freegiftfromtanya.com. Until next time.